Okay, Leo, this is your March reading. Let's see what comes through for you, my beautiful lions. So, we are heading towards the astrological new year, which means we're naturally closing off some cycles from the last year, right? That's what Pisces season can be about, sort of wrapping things up and going into that liminal space of where have we been, where are we going? And I do think it's the easiest season to be in a surrendered state. It just seems to work well with Pisces to just be in that we're not quite where we're going and we're not still where we've been. We're somewhere different and we are close to spirit and source. We can actually access both the material world, our 3D worlds, plus source and spirit. So hopefully this reading will pull in a conversation around, I guess, where we need to be in readiness for the collective energies, right? So we can never quite, I mean, we can predict the collective energies coming forward, but I like to work a bit more on what do you need to know based on this realm of information so that you can mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepare for the month. But also, I love the beauty around hearing a set of information that says this is going to show up, and then you living through that to bank on the reality of what this information means in my body when I go through it. I think there's something beautiful about that. We're not predicting the future so that you can either tick it off or say, no, that didn't happen. It might be, here's a discussion around what spirit wants us to think about, acknowledge, prepare for, and then how did that actually eventuate? So I have a beautiful mentor, a shamanic mentor of mine that says, if you do divination for the day or for the month or for the year, and the divination predicts very closely to what happens, then you have stayed connected to spirit and your guides the whole time. If you do the divination and that doesn't play out, then you have gone back into your mind and into your ego, which is a really cool perspective because it's almost like spirit is coaching us and inviting us towards what it can see now in our future timeline, which is the month of March. And it's inviting you towards your highest needs option always, which isn't your immediate wants, which isn't everything that you want to come true is going to come true. It's more that it's inviting you into a timeline, and it's up to us to say, I like that timeline. I trust you. I'm going to go towards it. I'm going to be ready for the parts that are difficult, trusting in everything else, surrendering when I need to, but taking action in aligned with those highest needs. So let's see what the reading pulls out for us. And if you are Leo, sun, moon, or rising, then this is specifically for you. We'll do a 3-card story. Can you see those? Just I'll hold them up. First part of the story, where we're going to begin, is thinking about what new information, what new ideas, what new belief systems around what fills up our cup, what emotionally and spiritually nourishes us, what gets us closer to self-fulfillment, to unconditional love, to being closer to love frequency all the time. Think about where you've been over the last month and year around what you've discovered there. So, what new ideas have you brought into the material world around emotional nourishment? What has filled up your cup? It's a very Pisces card. I mean, look at the fish, it's beautiful. What has come out of your experiences to give you more information about what nourishes you, what feels good, what makes you be in a sense of more love, more joy, more fulfillment, more contentment? So, the warning that I like around cups is it's not that everything is amazing and vibrant and happy. That's more of a one's energy. The cups are really about fulfillment, satisfaction, contentment, the things that feel good on all levels. It is that nourishment piece. It is that what's balanced and what provides that sense of that everything around me is actually flowing, right? It might be that flow state. So what have you tried that's new, that has surprised you in that flow state? What has brought you closer to flow state, and what has brought you away from flow state? So start banking those ideas or writing them down about what surprisingly brought you closer towards the feelings you want to be feeling most of the time. Like, what brought you into balance, what regulated your nervous system, what made everything fall into place, and what took you away from that. Because this is about the new information that comes through. Page of Cups is a very intuitive and sensitive page. He would be a person that's trying to get to the place of King of Cups, which is a emotional, spiritual, intuitive leader that makes decisions based on the nourishment of everyone around him. The page is trying to get there. So he's really defining those skills. He's running the experiments. He's learning from what he can try that fills up that cup and makes him even more intuitively strong and brings that sense of contentment and brings that sense of nourishment. So what did you actually pursue that brought that? And also, what did you pursue that didn't? So we might put this in the nourishment column or the self-sabotage column, perhaps. What to go towards and what to pull away from. But we really just want the awareness around what surprisingly made you feel better and what surprisingly made you feel worse, because it changes, doesn't it? Particularly if we're looking at mental health and regulating the nervous system and coming out of fight and flight, it changes what habits are quote unquote good for us and which ones are not. And particularly, we must acknowledge that we change with the seasons. Women, we change cyclically, and men change all the time in different ways. There might be bigger cycles for men, not that monthly rebirth, and maybe they have to hack into that to really provide that sense of letting go and rebirthing. That's where initiations come in. That's where physical challenges come in. That's where pursuing something difficult and enduring and hard, so they can then come back into that reflective phase and say what worked, what didn't. But for women, we are naturally guided there every month. And for some women, that is a forced there every month. So if your menstrual cycle is giving you grief, have a think about what your body needs from you that isn't naturally happening. This is not an accomplishment card. This is a card where you are in tune with the new information that brings you contentment. Because if we honor that and focus on it for the month of March, your cycles will get easier, your emotional plane will get easier. And if you're having difficulty in that realm, it's probably because we're not going towards the flow of emotions that naturally come up. So I feel like there's a lot of women that are going to listen to this. So if your cycle is giving you grief or anger or frustration, there's something that your body needs, because every month it's trying to flush out that month's worth of stress, of learning, of understanding. With that purge, we get the consolidation, we get the integration and the understanding that what we went through, we were meant to go through, and now we can start again. If your cycle has to force you into reflection, and it greatly changes your energy systems and your hormones are all over the place, it's because your body is like, hey, I really need you to change and pull back from the masculinized place in the world, which is achievement, progress, moving forward, having a schedule, achieving all of those things, all of those yang aspects. And your body is saying, hey, I really need us to go into the feminine. I need to go in to that deep sense of knowing. Why? So that we can find the beacon of light, the hope, and the sense of balance in our lives on a very deep level. This is a major arcana card. This will be our primary focus for the 3 cards. And we're going to waver in what brings us towards hope, inspiration, depth, emotional maturity, understanding. The star is really, if you're willing to go through the depths of what presents to us, if you're happy to go through experiences rather than pretend that they're not there, the star is your reward. It is really the light at the end of the tunnel, but you only get to the light if you go through the tunnel. If you're someone that is saying, oh, that tunnel's scary, I don't like the tunnel actually. The tunnel is where I feel shit about myself. I'm just going to go around it and go around it and go around it and go around it. Then you will be stuck at the same level of evolution and awareness that you have been prioritizing. Your ego's got you dancing around that tunnel. If you don't go through the tunnel, you're not going to get to the light. The light is the hope, the inspiration, the depth of, I went through it. I'm a better person. I have all this wisdom and nourishment and evolutionary gold about who I am. I have a different perspective on the world because I was the one that had the courage to go through that tunnel. That tunnel could be a difficult experience. That tunnel could be healing something. That tunnel could be pursuing health when your body signals it to you. That tunnel could just be your monthly cycle. And I know for a lot of women, that is the most horrible place that they ever have to go to. But I assure you, if you listen to your body, if you learn more about your body, if you work with the right practitioners, if you understand what your hormones are, what they're trying to tell you, if you have the ability to go into those cycles, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, and back out the other side, the hope and the star card tells you that it doesn't have to be painful forever. Soon it will be an enjoyable experience. And it's up to you how you decide you want that tunnel to be. If you want the tunnel to be a rewarding experience that you look forward to every single month, every single year, then that's what it will be for you. You have the option of loving every part of yourself and everything that you have to go through. So don't avoid the discomfort, don't avoid the lessons, because at the end of a difficult experience, there is always growth. The light will shine again. And if it does, we will have the understanding that we are better in community, that there is a whole bunch of people ready to celebrate us, that the cycles in our life determine our wisdom, our level of relatability to other people. This is really a card that we're all looking for. Celebrating with others in pure understanding of who we all are and what stage of life we're at. Right? This can be surrounding yourself with the sisterhood. This could be surrounding yourself with knowledgeable, intuitive, supportive, and real women that have your back no matter what. This could be calling in the right friends. This could be finally having in community a very interesting, eclectic mix of people that you have to celebrate with if you're willing to go through the depths of who you are, right? I love that quote that says the best thing you can do for the people around you is work on yourself. The best thing we can do to stay in awesome relationship, grounded and in celebration with other people in our community, in our social groups, in our work environments, is to work on yourself harder than you do at anything else. So it's really going through that tunnel of difficulty and coming out and sharing with people like, that was really hard. I went through this thing and I'm still putting it together, but I feel like I'm going to be better off. And I'm so glad that you are here to share that with me. If we're not here yet, right? If you've just identified from what you're hearing that you don't have the right people around you and there's no one you can call when you go through that depth and that tunnel and you don't see the light at the end and no one's there to hold you, then you might be avoiding something really uncomfortable, right? The questions need to be asked. The healing needs to happen. Healing says, I'm willing to open the box, understand the difficulty, and then pursue what that difficulty was not. Does that make sense? So healing means if this was abuse, I need to look at it, acknowledge it, understand it, pull it apart so I can go towards love. But if all you do is say that was abuse, I don't want to look at it anymore, people are shit, and that's the end of it, then all you do is stay connected to that negativity for the rest of your life. We don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. We just see the tunnel and the tunnel and the tunnel. What some people do is they don't even see the tunnel. They just avoid everything and pretend that it never happened. And I understand that you have to have strength and resilience before you go into things that are difficult. But we're not getting the information about actually what fills you up, what brings nourishment. If we focus only on what didn't bring nourishment, you will stay in resentment and blame and bitterness around it. Not an easy place to be. We won't be able to get the new ideas and the new information and the new hobbies and the new people as they come through to be like, oh, that's interesting. That filled up my cup. That was amazing. I'm so surprised by that. Because if you're still worried about everything that went wrong, we can't get this information. So the page can't even do his job. And if we don't go through the difficult tunnel, we can't get the reward of it's all going to be okay. You did great. And particularly, we won't have those people around us that represent community that will keep us strong whenever those dark tunnels present. Yeah, with the right people around us, no matter what we go through, it is always something to be shared and acknowledged and understood by others. I think we get so scared of needing to be a certain way for people that we don't show the depths of who we are, and those relationships don't feel quite right. It's like if you're always pretending to be the one that's got it all together or the one that is resilient, the one where it's like, oh, everything's fine, you don't give people an opportunity to see your depth and to actually get the data of what makes you feel uncomfortable. If someone in my life goes through something difficult, of course I am empathetic and compassionate, but I'm also like, how interesting that that's so difficult for them. Wow, it really shows me who they are and what they've been through and how I can support them better. If I don't know that that person is really burdened by something, then I don't have that information about how I can support them better. Let's say they get a trigger and I don't know what that trigger relates to because they've never told me about their trauma or they've never told me about why it's so hard for them to have female relationships or to have the sisterhood around them. Then when they go towards those relationships in the future, if I know about all of that, I can actually say like, oh, I get that that was really hard for you and you've done really well. Do you need some extra support? Because I know that this area of your life is pretty testy and like can bring up some stuff. How are you going? Can I be there for you? Because I totally get it now. But if we're not sharing those things and not holding them and expressing them, then how are people meant to know what's difficult for us if we're not expressing it properly? So I feel like there's a beautiful story playing out here around how to get the right people around you, but with those levels of depth. And if there's any pretending going on, if all you want is the celebration phase and all you really want is for people to congratulate you and acknowledge you and see you, then they need more data around what's difficult for you to get to that place. So give them the opportunity. And I know that this can be difficult for people because a lot of people say, I don't have capacity to hold all that. But at least we're filtering out in a real sense who actually has capacity for the depth of who we are. The shadow card for you guys, ooh, the pheasant, beautiful card. Number 6, if you're into numbers. So the pheasant actually talks about, and it's a beautiful story, those that have your back are the ones that even when you're going through a difficult time, even when you're not comfortable, even when it's all not working out for you, all they see is beauty anyway. It is the people around you that say like, oh, I see you're really uncomfortable, but I think you're going to be out the other side. I think it's going to be amazing. And I love you regardless, right? I love you regardless of whether you're reacting well to the situation or not. I can see the beauty in you no matter what you pursue. I've got your back. And even if you make a mistake, I'll still have your back. And I'm here. So it's difficult work, isn't it, to prioritize those people that don't actually judge you when you call up and say, I did something wrong, that don't criticize you for every move. They actually see that you're moving towards something that's painful. And they don't label you and they don't do all these things based on conditional love. They actually go like, I see you and I see how difficult this is. And it doesn't make me shy away. It doesn't make me scared. I'm here. You know, I'm in it for the long run. You let me know what you need and we'll go through this mess together. So Pheasant actually asks you to see those people. And they might be people that you're not actually spending all of your time with. You're too busy over here giving all the love and attention to those that actually criticize you and blame you and judge you all the time. What about the ones that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, are just like, I love you. Look at them, prioritize them, invest in them so they can invest in you, right? Get a piece of paper out and ask Spirit to collaborate with you and write down a list of people that are on your investment list. Your investment list is the ones that your guides want you to go towards, whether it makes rational sense or not. This is a skill set to learn. We need a bit of understanding and intuition around who is supportive and good for me right now, who can I invest in safely, and who is actually too much in their own stuff to really support me in the way that I want. Pheasant comes with a warning. If you're spending time with people that don't see the beauty in you, then do we need some boundaries? Do we need a new skill set about speaking your truth? Do we need to be prioritizing connections with other people? Go well, my darlings. I hope this helps. I will see you soon. Happy March. Bye.